welcome to my first tutorial. We're going to learn some Scratch right now. So to get started, we're going to go to scratch.mit.edu. And at any moment, if you need to catch up or go back, feel free to pause and rewind. So if you pay special attention to .edu, that means that it's created by a university. Because they're created by colleges and professors that are trustworthy, you can trust edu sites. And if your website ends in .gov, this means that it's created by the government, and it's a web page by the government, and you can trust these also. But a .com website can be created by anyone, so you've got to be very careful. Make sure you trust the website before you go on it, and when in doubt, just ask your parent if you think the website might not be safe. And when you get random pop-ups, don't click on them. If you click on them, they can probably download viruses, and they might have access to your parents' credit cards, figure out where you live. You don't want to give them access to all your personal info, so just don't click on the pop-ups. So once you're in Scratch, you're going to go to Create. It'll create a project for you, and if you want to save your project, you've got to create an account, but make sure you create it with a parent's permission. Okay, so for those of you who've never used Scratch, this little part in the corner with the cat is called the canvas, or the stage in Scratch. This is where you see everything happen once you're done coding. And this big blank space in the middle is where you drag and drop your code. There's a lot of different functions arranged according to what they do. It sounds really complicated, but I'll go through each section one by one. But before we get into any code, I want to go down to this bottom right corner. If you see this little cat with a plus sign, if you just hover over it like I'm doing now, you can scroll up to choose a sprite, paint a sprite, pick a random sprite, or upload one from your computer. I'm going to choose a sprite, and don't spend too long on this, truly. I'm going to choose a little bear. And if you want to get rid of a sprite, you click this little trash can in the corner here. Again, if you don't know which sprite to choose, you can pause it and carefully decide, or you can just choose one and go with it. You can always come back. And then similarly, the way I got to backdrop was by just clicking this right next to the cat. You'll see a little picture with a plus sign. If you hover over it, you can choose a backdrop, pay to drop backdrop, pick a surprise one, or upload one. So to select one, you click on it, and you can choose it from any one of them. Or if you just hover over it and press the paint one, it takes you to this little editor. Now what do kids these days like? Fortnite? I hear kids like Fortnite. I don't know. I really don't. I've never played Fortnite, but my little brother tells me that a lot of kids in his class play Fortnite, so let's just pretend I know what I'm doing. I think this is someone from Fortnite. I really don't know. I'm sorry. Yes. I don't know Fortnite, but if that keeps your attention, whatever it takes. So the first thing we're going to drag onto the canvas is when flag is clicked. That's the way you begin a Scratch project. So what people using your code will see would be the setup, and then they will go to the little green flag that says go to begin the code. We haven't coded anything yet, so it just stays still, but this is how you begin all your code when flag is clicked. Let's go down to the orange control. You can go to any of these sections by the side tab over here and match the color. Events is yellow, control is orange. Forever loops forever. In actual computer science, we don't use forever loops because it would never end. It would probably break the computer. But in Scratch, it can handle basic code until you press the little stop sign. So if you want to forever make the bear look a little funny, then it will keep shifting colors without ever stopping. I'll teach you how to do that later. Other important things, for loops. That's what they're called in Java, Python, other big code languages that you can learn later. But for loops in Scratch are repeat however many times. You can repeat 5 times, whatever you want to do. So you can say hello 5 times. Or if you don't want to repeat something 5 times. For the length of apple, you can say hello. Apple has 5 letters in it, so it'll still say hello 5 times, but it's another way to do it. You can do it for the length of Scratch project. It'll say hello 14 times because that is the length of Scratch project. So that's your for loop, or repeat. You may have seen that I did some work in the green. You don't have to understand it yet. I will get to that in later videos, but I'm just giving you a brief introduction right now. So now we have some control, some events. Let's go into looks. When I was doing my examples, you may have seen that I popped in here and popped out very, very quickly. Now I'm going to give you a more in-depth introduction to the things under looks. All the purple we're covering right now. You can say hello for 2 seconds, but if you double click hello, it'll highlight blue. You can put whatever you want, and that is what your character will say. I have this code under my bear, so my bear will say, I don't understand Fortnite. But you can pull in another sprite. Again, just choose something quickly, whatever you want. I will have this beautiful centaur, and when a flag is clicked, that is how we begin our code. He can say, I play Fortnite all day. Again, so when flag is clicked, both will say their own line for however many seconds. Maybe the centaur will be yelling it for a little bit longer. You can change how long the text lasts. Okay, let's keep going. If you just put say without a duration being the number of seconds, the bear will say hello and will not stop saying hello. Think is very much like say, except it'll appear in a thought bubble instead of a speech bubble. It's very cute. So you can think for 2 seconds and then it'll go away. Or you can just think and you never stop. This bear will forever be confused. Switch costume. This is very important for animation. When you begin, the costume will switch to bear A. But when you begin, switch costume to bear H, press the green flag, and this will be the bear starting position. Switch costume can be very useful. Next costume rotates through all of the bear's costumes. So if you wanted to just start walking forever, next costume, and this bear is running and will not stop running till you press stop. Do you remember how I said forever will not stop, but repeat 10? Only repeat a couple times. Let's say you want the bear to walk a couple times. It stops because it's only going to the next costume 10 times. Let's pull back in our forever loop. Again, pause anytime if I'm going too fast. I'm just showing you some quick examples. Follow along. Don't feel the need to catch every little moment. Let's say you don't want the bear look like he's running for his life. Maybe he's just taking a little stroll. Now he's so slow. So you can change this. Again, double click on the 1 and you can do something less than 1. You can go in for maybe a 30th of a second, and you'll notice that however short you make it, start speeding up faster and faster. 0 seconds, he's running for his life. I'd say 0.1 seconds a pretty comfortable speed. It's a pretty steady walk. And that is how you make a little walk loop. Walk loops are important in animation. Adults who do game design or just animation, they'll have to set up walk loops for characters. And now you know how to code one in Scratch. But that's only if you choose something that ends in walking. If you do this little ball and you switch costumes for the ball, this ball won't be walking. It'll be flashing a bunch of different colors because its costumes are different colors, but the bear's costumes are different stages of walking. This centaur has a bunch of different poses, but if you have him go to the next costume every 0.1 seconds, he will just look like he's very confused about how he feels instead of looking like he's walking. And the ball will just look like it's changing colors instead of looking like it's walking. Very much depends on what Scratch preset you're doing. Dance will look like the person's dancing. Bear walking will look like it's walking. Bear will just look like it's going down and standing up. Or if you choose to paint one, it might not even move, because if you don't have any other costumes, it'll just stay there. So you can add another costume. It will wobble weirdly. Animation can be very complicated. If you want to make something walk, I would really suggest taking something with walk in its name, or run. So if you just search walk, There's a unicorn running, little characters walking, bear walking, and a girl walking. So now, what's something you can do with all the sprites? What if you don't want to find a little walking character? What if you want to have a cat? I like cats, and this cat does not walk well. May look like this cat is pretending to walk, but I assure you, if we put in our code that we just created, one flag is clicked forever. Next costume, this is not walking. This is not walking at all. Walk loops are complicated. They really, really are. Something you can do with forever though is change color effect by 25. Without the forever loop, if you change the color effect, it'll change color values. And it will just shift through the random colors all the way up to 200 basically. And it goes back to where it's begun. And this can be used with truly anything. You like cheesy puffs, you change the color of those cheesy puffs. And if you do it forever, this will be your disco cat. Enjoy. And just like with our walk loops, you can make it wait a little bit, and now it's got a little bit smoother of a transition. If you want it to be even smoother, you can change it by 1. And now it's just very slowly changing colors. And this is very much giving it a Wizard of Oz-like effect. There's this moment in the movie The Wizard of Oz where they enter the Emerald City and there's a horse that keeps shifting colors just like this. And now you too can have a color shifting animal. Now that's just color. There's all these different effects that you can change. This is just the color effect. What is fisheye? It's making this cat look insane. And it's just growing and growing. And if you want to go back, because it's starting to get a little bit scary, you can go make it negative. Negative makes it go in, positive makes it go out. And if you want to reset it, just set it to 0. Other things you can do. Whirl. You can see that it's starting to twist one way. If you want it to twist the other way, like with fisheye, you make it negative. Now you can pause and spend as much time as you like exploring these effects. We're going to move on to the next thing. I skipped over a couple of things between change color effect by 25 and next costume. So let's go through that. Switch backdrop. Backdrop 1, if you remember, is this blank black backdrop. Backdrop 2 is this little Fortnite character. What else do kids like these days? Maybe it'll be a YouTuber. I'm just making a weird looking trophy. So if you want to switch the backdrop, go back into looks and you can switch backdrop to backdrop 1 or to backdrop 2. And just like next costume, you can change the backdrop with next backdrop. Ah! That's terrifying. Other things you can do. You can change the size of your sprite, the sprite being your cat right now, by however much you want. If you want to change the size by 30, it'll grow a lot. And if you want your cat to shrink again, just like with our effects, you'll use a negative number. And you can set size to a percent. If you want to make it as big as it began, make it 100%. If you want to make it twice as big, 200%. If you want to make it a tenth of what it once was, 10%. Look at that itty bitty little cat on a tomato mustache. Set. You saw change, and change is depending on what it was before. If the color right now is 0, and you change it by 10, it'll turn yellow. But now it is 10, and if you change it by 10 again, it'll be 20. Depending on what it was before, it goes to the next color. But with set, you can choose exactly which color. 0 makes its original. So set makes it a little bit more specific. Clear graphic effects. This is useful. So let's say you change the color by 25 and make it fisheye, and just gonna clean up my code a little bit. It's always important to have clean code. You whirl it and you do all these random effects we didn't even explore yet. Wow, now it just looks insane. This, our poor dear cat here. What has happened? Clear graphic effects gets rid of all of that. Other very important things. Show. Makes it show up. When you want to see the cat, as soon as you press the green flag, as soon as the green flag is clicked, you show it. But if you don't want to see it, he'll pop up later. You have the little cat. Hide. Show. It appears. Hide. It disappears. And the very, very, very observant will notice that over here, the little eye makes it show. The little crossed out eye makes it hide. Size is here, direction here. You can make it face any which way. We'll get more into that when we cover motion. And X and Y. The very middle is 0, 0. a lot of other programming languages like JavaScript or processing. 0, 0 is at the very top corner. 0, 0 for Scratch is just in the very center. Go to the front layer. This is when you have a lot of different sprite characters and you want the cat to be in the front. Goes in front of all the others. If you want to go back, goes behind. If you have even more characters and you want it to just go in front of one but not all of them, go in front one layer. The same thing for going backward. So that's all for looks. I covered a lot of stuff. So, if you need to go back at any time, feel free. I will be covering motion and combining stuff in the next video. Send any questions to seermodulcoding@gmail.com.